Welcome to keyframes. In this video you will understand what they are and how they are used. Be shown how to automatically add them and remove them from the timeline view. Realise almost anything can be keyframed. And be able to use keyframes to animate your lamp. So let's hop straight on over into Blender. Right, so let's start adding some keyframes, but before we do, just in case we end up, as we're experimenting, make a big mess of our animated lamp, let's hop over into a brand new Blender file and play with the default cube. Right, so I'm going to need the timeline, so I'm going to bring that out. I've changed my default file so I don't have to have the timeline there every time. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about the length of the timeline or anything along those lines. So what is a keyframe? Well, a keyframe is simply a moment in time in our animation. So let's just set a keyframe really quickly. So first of all, I'm just going to hide this area here. So we've just got our 3D view in front of us and our timeline. So I'm going to click the record button here, and initially it won't do anything. However, the moment I do anything in our scene, even just move the cube ever so slightly, it records a point, and we can see that on the timeline now there's a yellow line just here on the timeline. That indicates that that particular moment contains a keyframe. Now let's say we go to frame 30 and move the cube up here and across a little, and then at frame 60 we bring it down and across a little again. Now we see that there are three main states that the cube is in. There's its starting frame, this keyframe here, and this one here. And what keyframes allow us to do is simply smoothly transition between those keyframes automatically. You imagine if you had to do that by placing it and setting it and placing it and setting it 60 times? That's just not going to happen. So keyframes allow us to do things with a certain amount of automation. And keyframes are those points where, let's say here, we reach the top of our jump and then we start descending again. Now keyframes can apply to literally anything and everything. And in Blender, any field that you have can be adjusted. So let's open up this area here. Let's hide those again. So you can see here what all the areas that are highlighted in yellow are ones that are actually being keyframed at this point. So sometimes you end up with individual ones, other times you end up with whole groups. So you can see that the scale is highlighted, but it doesn't actually change from frame to frame. And on the keyframe, the yellow, and in between, it guesses some numbers, so it's a smooth transition to the next keyframe. Now what we could do here is, on frame 30, for instance, we can go to scale and make it longer. So in the Z-axis we can make it a bit taller, and then as we're jumping up it stretches ever so slightly, and then by the time it comes back down again it's not stretching. So there's loads of different things you can do with these keyframes. Now if you want to delete one, say, well actually that one at the top there I don't want, it's not going to go up anymore, it's just going to go along this y-axis, then down on this set of keys down here on the timeline's header, we can click that and select certain types. In this case I'm just going to go available, so it removes all the settings that we've made at this particular point, and then we can click the little key with a line through it and that will remove the keyframe at that point. And then the cube will literally just slide along between these two keyframes. And of course this will apply with everything. So with the record button on, if I lift it up and rotate it, it will then graduate between those positions, rotations, scales, pretty much anything and everything. Very, very powerful. Okay guys, it's challenge time. I'd like you to use the knowledge you've just acquired to animate the lamp. So animate the lamp using automatic keyframes. Do stick to that 5-second animation and remember to have fun. What poses can you come up with? What little jitties can you make your lamp do? Pause the video now and give that a go. Okay guys, welcome back. let's go and animate our lamp. Right, so let's hop over to the animated lamp. Okay, so we've got our animated lamp here, and I want him to, or her, I don't know. Anyway, I want it to hop along our wall along this way. So at the moment, our default pose, if I select everything and reset the rotation, is actually facing the wall. So the first thing that I will want to do, looking at my hierarchy and everything, I'm going to be moving this base, and if I just move it at the moment, the rest of the lamp will stay still. I need to parent the lamp rig to the base. So if you haven't done that, you may have struggled with working out why that wasn't all moving together, but that's fine there. Finally, I'm going to go into pose mode here. So let's select the lamp rig. We're in pose mode. I'm going to grab this lower bone and rotate it by 90 degrees. Yep. Then finally pose, and then, oh, being blind, apply the pose as the rest pose. That's fine. So let's scoot round to the front view. I think it's front view. Front or back? Yeah, front's absolutely fine. And I'm going to do this in this orthographic projection. So the first thing I want to do is make sure that the recording of keyframes is turned on. And I'm going to have a couple of frames of something. I'm just going to set that to 0, 0, 0 at this moment in time. I don't really want to lift that up there. There we go, the base. I'm going to set it as 0 there. I'll just lift it up and set it back down to 0. There we go. So we've got our lamp down at 0. And then something's going to happen, and it's going to end up over on this side over here. So it's going to probably jump up or something and then land back here. So let's just see if that distance is right. That's probably a little far. So let's go to here and perhaps back here, and I'm just trying to make an arc down to here. So there, and then midway between here and here is about 150, but you tend to fall quicker than you jump, so I'm going to scoot it just a little bit further this way. I'm going to start the jump around here, so I'm going to set the 3D cursor around this corner, set the pivot point to the 3D cursor, and just tip it forward ever so slightly. And then we'll have it going forward, but also that's going to have to go up a little, otherwise we get this kind of sliding effect. And the top of the animation is going to be, take that back to the active element, lift it up. Now, is that too high? Or indeed, has that just passed through something? No, that's just our plane. So let's turn the plane off so I can't see it. All these things in the way. Lighting plane, there we go. So whiz back round to the front view. I'll zoom out, back out again. I need to see what's going on, of course. So we're starting down here, we're jumping up, and we're landing out here. And a lot of this is just done by eye. I'm sure if you spend a lot of time, so that's actually going forward there before I want it to. In fact, here I really want it kind of rocking back first. So I'm only starting on this base, by the way. We can move on to other bits and bobs in a moment. So let's zoom in down to this base and just focus on it a little closer. Have to zoom in there because the 3D cursor itself, I couldn't set it because the red arrow was in the way. So let's start here. Let's move forward a couple of frames and rock backwards first. Let's get our lamp leaning backwards as well, and we're in pose mode. So we've got it going backwards. In fact, we don't have a beginning of our pose, so let's have it in a more static position first. Then it leans back, and about there we want it leaning forward, so let's lift that up. Perhaps not that much, otherwise it's going to be a violent move. Forward, and then we're going to lift up, and of course as we come down it's going to want to start to crouch. ready for the landing, which happens, let's move round to there, so let's really move that back here, and then finally, oh, we haven't done the final bit of the animation there, so that, move it down a little bit more, let's get the lamp rocking forward. I need a pivot point around there first of all to rotate it back down to nothing. A few seconds later it will rock forward. A few seconds later, but these are going to get closer and closer together. We end up with this rocking effect. And then a final rest position where it's flat. Again, I'm just doing this by eye. And then finally, let's hop over to the posing itself. So we've got it landing. And that's going to start coming forward. And as it starts going back, it's going to stretch out to prevent itself from toppling. And then into our final rest pose. So I'm pretty much doing a 2D animation here, only in one plane. But of course I'm going to get rid of that marker, it serves no purpose. So let's just see how our lamp is looking. There's something very weird happening at the beginning, I'm not happy with that at all. Because it's rocked back, it's lifted up, and we don't want it lifting up at this point. Okay, and it's moving forward to here. I don't want it moving forward at all. Oh, select the wrong thing. Make sure you don't select the wrong thing when you intend to move items about. And let's pull it backwards. Let's just see. That does look ridiculous. But of course you can play with this to your heart's content and get it just right. In fact, at this point I'm going to delete every keyframe that's available at that point. So we've got it going up, and I just want it flying forward before it takes off. So it's here, we're rocking back. Let's have it rocking forward again before it goes into the sky. Let's rotate that round. And it's moved forward ever so slightly, so you do have to be really careful because it's moved forward there, it just looks a bit silly. That's a bit better. Let's just play that and see how it looks. Wow, it's low gravity by the looks of things, so I haven't... It rocks lots and then very big slide through there and going down there. Now there are certain things we can do to tweak that, but I'm quite happy with that for the moment. And one final thing, at the top of that, I am going to just get the lamp to look at us. So I'm going to grab our pose position here, and I'm literally going to grab him to look round, but just the head, just want the head looking. Grab this in, let's zoom in. Our perspective mode probably isn't helping with my zooming here. Let's get him to look. So, well, where's the camera? That's the first question. Well, we can sort that out in a moment. Yeah, that looks good enough. Let's go back round to the front. Just rotate it round a little bit more. Let's just see how that looks. So it jumps up, looks round, and swings his head back round for landing. Perfect. That's looking pretty good. Let's just see how that looks with the rig turned off so I can see our model. So let's turn the lamp rig off. Let's just have a look at that playing. So start animation. I'm struggling for screen space here. Start animation. Is it going to jump off the screen? Yep. So let's just see if we can lower that down a little. And of course it just loops round and round and round. So I can probably just pull that up a little. Excellent. I'm liking our animated lamp. Now, of course, before we can go and share this with people, we need to make sure that we can export and not have our computer taking a small lifetime to do anything. And we'll cover that in the next couple of lectures, so you can start sharing your animations with people. Take care, and I will see you in the next lecture.